growth before stabilization? Is stabilization or growth always a recurring thing? And stabilization is a bit of a myth that what is stabilization? If you are growing, you always have this dynamism in life. What is appropriate growth, and how does that come about?
We endeavor to use Zambia as a model of not only stabilization, but inclusive growth. And we are excited to have you all, but to contribute to the theme that we have today. Welcome, and feel free to participate.
And now, of course, we're talking about stabilization, knowing that there is the debt treatment by the IMF, which is supposed to underpin the stabilization program for Zambia. And I think more importantly, coming from where we're coming in terms of ECA, there are issues of inclusive growth. Zambia has been able to grow in certain periods, but that hasn't carried everybody else. And I think that is the focus. Today, you will note that Zambia has 61% of its population classified as poor. And this is really people living under extreme poverty. And this is according to the target that we have, the international poverty line of $2.15 a day.
So Zambia faces very acute economic and social challenges. And this complements some of the slides that you just saw from Eunice, where she was looking at these trends over time. So in the first chart, you can see that average growth in Zambia in the last 10 years has been quite a bit weaker than in the previous decade. That's a black dashed line that you can see there. Now, this was because the economy was hit by a succession of shocks. There was a drop in copper prices in 2015, 2016. There were droughts, most recently in 2019, which impacts the agricultural sector, which we saw is where most people work.
What are some of the challenges that is stopping Zambia from creating an industrial base?
What we've been lacking in Zambia for a very long time, the stories of having a lot of minerals being discovered, a lot of opportunities of setting up industries. In almost every province, in almost every district, there was some industry of some sort. And then at some point, we just don't know where those industries actually went to. So even when we are talking about bringing them back, we would simply be retelling an old story. And so maybe what we actually need to think of now is what sort of new things are we actually going to bring so that what may not have worked that time should be able to work this time around.
Most of the people that are mostly active in terms of the economic growth, those are the private sectors or other foreign overseas industries. And as organizations, what's your say on that? Like
the issue of growth and inequality is quite an odd problem. There was a time when development economists and development theory argued that all you needed was growth in the economy and everything else would be taken care of. But over time, we know that doesn't hold.
You've come to say carbon markets can help Zambia make profit. So why hasn't the government looked into this carbon market to gain more profit?
Zambia depends on the IMF's voice to take them on this road to inclusive growth. What is the IMF's position in tackling the misconception among Zambians who think things are actually worse than they were before the deal was actually implemented?
Apart from the GDP per capita income, what other indicators has the IMF put in place to measure poverty in terms of, and as an individual, or measuring poverty for a certain economy?
How are UNECA helping in terms of making sure that we have a better actualization?
Of course, yes. The potential for SEZs to work in Zambia, as in anywhere else, is there. But it's what model would be replicated, but using the uniqueness that each country has to drive that policy.
All the talking we can do, all the advice we can do, all the guidelines, all the policies, the programs we can make, if we as a country are not implementing that as governors, then we can be talking until dark catches with us. So it's very important that IMF can advise, UNECA can advise, technocrats can advise. But I think at the end of it all, as a government, we must be what we call in the driver's seat.